Hello everyone, this is Mark here at Gary's Guitars, and I'm here to talk about my favorite amp. So I own about 20-something amps. It changes a little bit sometimes, but I primarily use a couple of them, and I'm going to talk about this one and why I like it and why I use it. First of all, it has sentimental value to me. I bought this amp at Gary's Guitars in 1990, so for nearly 35 years I've had this amp. And it's been on a lot of gigs and on a lot of records, and it's a trooper. So we'll talk about basically what the amp is, which is it's Citation by Excelsior. It's probably manufactured by Sano in the very early 60s. It kind of has a deluxe circuit, so it has a pair of 636s, pair of 636s, 3 12x7s, tube rectifier, and volume and tone, kind of like a Tweed Deluxe, 2 discrete channels. And so when I bought it back in 1990, I knew I wanted a tube amp, and non-Fender tube amps were pretty cheap, and they were considered to be a little ridiculous, so I got it cheap. I got it for $149. I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of it. It kind of had that cool TV front look, and so it had the mojo. I found as I used it, kind of the reason I liked it kind of was the reason that people liked the Fender Deluxe style. Just distortion at, harmonic distortion at any volume, and real distortion when you turn it up. And so basically your volume knob, so when you go anywhere from 3 o'clock up, it distorts, and it's how much distortion you want to get. It doesn't get that much louder. This is probably a 12-watt amp, maybe 10, and I could make you leave the room with this amp. I mean, not just with bad playing, but this amp can get loud, just perceived loudness. It fills a room in a really interesting way. Open back. What else should I say about it? I'm going to give you a little tour around it too and show you what it does. It has vibrato built in, and it has that, kind of, well, Fender vibrato happens in the preamp stage. And this has vibrato that happens in the power amp stage. It kind of oscillates the power tubes. And it creates a more substantive vibrato. So, as you may know, we had a Fender, a 57 Fender Deluxe come through the store recently. And I was like, maybe I need to get this amp. Ooh, this is the holy grail of little amps, and I'm a little amp fan. This was considered a little amp. I don't think a combo with a 12-inch isn't even called a little amp anymore. Everyone's using combos these days. So I brought the Fender to my studio, and I A-B'd it with this amp, and they didn't sound exactly the same, but they both sounded great for some of the same reasons. And I was like, you know what? I'm sticking with what I got. It's done me well so far. So I use it, so there's 2 amps I primarily use on gigs. One is this, about half the time, and the other is a Fender Tone Master Deluxe. And I know that is an extreme difference. And but I'll explain why. To me, they do the same kind of thing. So I set the Tone Master for a 12-watt setting on the output attenuator. I want to get just a little bit of dirt. I don't crank them. Like I said, I usually leave this on 2.5. I play with the tone knob to kind of dial in the sound for the room. But it doesn't usually get cranked unless it's being used in the studio as an effect and we want to get a rockin' solo going or something. Or there's just some kind of havoc that I got to get in on. Having the 2 discrete channels, just like the Tone Master does, allows me to play a keyboard through one and the guitar through the other, and they both have their own volume, so I can balance them right and set the tone to the correct thing. So when I perform, I usually play guitar and sing, but I play piano and electric piano sounds, organ sounds, Wurlitzer and clavinet and things like that. I'm on Nord primarily, and sending it through a great old guitar amp gives it the grit that you need to kind of make it sound less digital, less sterile, make it sound more like a vintage organ sound, to me especially. And the 6v6 sound is really good for that. 6v6 is not... one of my other favorite amps has EL84s, which is a very hi-fi tube. They use them in hi-fi. This amp, is the 6v6, is kind of a lo-fi tube. It by nature creates that mid-range sound that those famous 6v6 amps are known for. So let's do a little walk around and I'll take you on a tour. Okay, it's beautiful. It was in similar condition when I got it. I didn't do all this damage, but like I said, I take it on a lot of gigs. The handle I had to put on, the other handle broke off. Here's the control panel. It's rear facing, like any good old amp. There we go. So, channel 1, volume and tone. This is the vibrato, which they call vibrato, and gain. Gain is not, people see gain, they go, oh, gain, give me some of that. It's like, no, that's not, it's just the speed and depth of the vibrato. And this is the other channel, volume and tone. Has normal and bright, which bright is the full range, and normal usually has just a capacitor, resistor across it to dumb it down a little. So the normal is usually, the bright is the full range sound. I often use bright unless I need it to quiet down a little and I throw it in the, calm down a little, throw it in the normal. You can bridge these channels if you want. This has in it a Weber speaker, kind of one of those reissue Weber things, El Nico. Because I tried it out in that Fender and I really liked it. And most of its life it's had a Utah in it, but I've swapped it in. I have not gotten rid of the Utah because it's been such a classic sound for me that I might want to go back to it. But lately I'm using that Weber speaker and I like it. It lightened it up a couple of pounds. So there it is, my favorite amp, my buddy. We've been together for nearly 35 years. Thanks for watching this video, and check out all the other videos here on YouTube, and we'll see you soon.